How to manage your money for teenagers. The first thing about money you need to understand is the difference between a need and a want. A need is something necessary for life, like food, water, or shelter. A want is something you desire, like an iPod or a new car. Needs and wants are determined by your values, like family, friends, and education. These things help you make your daily decisions. You will also need to understand SMART goals. SMART is just an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. These will help you make your decisions for needs and wants. Here's an example for, let's say, going to college. Now that you understand you can use your SMART goals to get what you need and want, you also realize you need money. And to get money, you need a job. Getting a job is easy, you just need a couple things, and one of those things is a resume. Here's an example of what the header of one would look like. You also need to include things like your educational background, extracurricular activities, honors and awards, computer skills, and specialized skills. These are a few examples of what these would look like. You also need to be fully prepared for the interview. You need to have questions ready, and you must also be prepared to answer their questions. Here are a few examples of what questions they might ask and responses you might want to give. You can always further your career by working toward a promotion. Just be sure to follow the SMART goal guidelines when doing so. This also applies to furthering your education, whether it's an associate's degree, a bachelor's, or your master's. Just be sure during the application process to check how selective the school is and also the costs of living there. After you get out of college and you get your job, you have your money, but what do you do with it? How do you manage it? Well, there are a lot of options. You can put it into a national or an international bank, an online-only bank, a community bank, or a credit union. There are also different types of insurance you can put for your belongings or for your money. You can go through the FDIC route or the NCUA. Once you've decided where to keep your money, you need to decide how to budget it. There are three control methods that a lot of people use, for example, the envelope system, the spending plan system, and the check register system. For the budget, you need to figure out how you're going to pay for things like rent, food, car insurance if you need it, car maintenance, personal items, savings, phone, utilities, cable, TV, entertainment, all those things like that. Once you have chosen a bank and your budget is set, you can get a credit card. There are typically three types. You have a points card, where every purchase you get a certain amount of points and then you get money for them. And then there's a miles card, where every purchase you make you get a certain amount of miles for traveling. And then you have a rewards card, where every purchase you make you get a certain amount of cash back on it. There are certain disadvantages to credit cards though. Even though you're allowed to get stuff now and pay for it later, if you don't pay for it later on time, you will get a debt. Don't forget your values, needs, and wants when making big purchases, like a car or a house. For example, with a car, ask yourself, what kind of car do I need? Do I need a car? Could I get by on public transportation? You also should ask yourself, if you do decide to get a car, what kind of car do I want? Also ask yourself, how much should you afford? Look at your personal budget that you made before. See what you have saved up. When buying a car, you just need to follow some easy steps. First, ask yourself, what do you need and what do you want? And after you do that, look at how much you can afford and compare it to your budget. Then, after you do that and you pick the car you want, price it. Go on Kelley Blue Book or go on Edmunds. There are a lot of resources available for finding a car. And then, if you choose a new car, you have to look at incentives and rebates. But if you don't, you can just go straight on to finding the exact car you want to buy. Find the model, the year, the mileage, everything. You also need to decide if you want to do internet or traditional buying. If you do internet, you'll be able to find better deals most likely. If you do traditional, you will be purchasing right off the lot. You also need to negotiate the lowest price whenever you are buying your car. And after you find your price, you close the deal, you sign the paperwork, and the car is yours. When buying a house, ask yourself the questions: why do you want to buy? Why do you want to buy now? How stable is your employment? How would buying a home affect your finances? You might find out that buying a home isn't as great as renting a home. The advantages of buying a home, though, is you get a feeling of community, and it's less expensive in the long run. But the advantages of renting is that it's less expensive in the short term, and you have flexibility in relocating. Just be sure to consider these options whenever you're purchasing your home. Once you do that, look for location, price, and then go online and look at houses that you're interested in. Remember, don't always pick what you want. Don't go for the big house or the mansion. Go for what you need.